G'day and welcome to Larrikin, Japan. Today I thought I'd have a bit of a talk about the foreign workforce in Japan. So there's over 2 million foreigners working in Japan, building up their workforce. What do you think the largest nationality is? It's actually Vietnamese. Over 25% are Vietnamese. So that's over 500,000. So you got over 500,000 Vietnamese working in Japan. And then next you have Chinese, then we have Philippines, Indonesians, these sort of things. So you got most of the foreign workers in Japan come from the Southeast Asian countries. Now, why do we have so many people from these countries coming to Japan to work? Well, one of the big reasons is in their own country, they get paid nearly nothing. Like a Vietnamese working in a factory in Vietnam is lucky to make 50,000 yen a month. Where in Japan, even though the salaries aren't that flash, they're making like 3 times that. They're making, over 150,000 yen a month, which isn't a lot of money. But now a lot of these Vietnamese and that, they have dormitories. A lot of factories and that have dormitories where they stay. So they whack them in the dormitories. Sometimes there's, they have bunk beds. So they have, maybe if it's a small room, they might have 4 people. If it's a big room, they'll have 8 people living in the one room. They sort of whack them in there. These dormitories, they have like a bathroom that they share. They have kitchens, so they usually cook their own meals. They have bicycles where they just ride from the dormitory to the factory. Or some places, they even have the dormitory attached to it. Here, I'll show you a bit of an image of one near my place. This is a dormitory here. So in here, there's probably about, I don't know how many rooms. They'd have a lot of rooms in here. They've got them at the front and the back. So there's 6 there. I'd say one's a bathroom, one's a kitchen. And then they'd have rooms up top. So they probably get about, 4 or 6 or 8, depending on how big the rooms are. And they live in here. It looks like it's all closed down at the moment. They're probably on New Year's holiday. But usually there's bikes here, so they have bikes and then they ride to their jobs from here. So they have communal kitchens where they just cook their own meals and that. So they try to live as cheap as they can so they can send as much money back to their country as they can. But this is one of the dormitories. There's a lot around. This is just one that's up near my house sort of thing. So, yeah, they have a lot of these dormitories so that it makes it easy for them to stay. This is another one. This is a fiberglass factory. They make fiberglass. But you can see over here, they have the accommodation for them. It's nothing flash. They got their bicycles outside and that. So they stay in there. They pack them in. There's not a real lot of room for everybody, but they just sort of squeeze them in. But they make fiberglass here. So they live on site. So that's how a lot of them sort of live. They live in these places. You can see here's a bit more accommodation for them here. These are like old containers they've converted into living quarters for them. So it's nothing flash, but that's how it is. Here they've got a washing machine and different thing, probably toilet and shower and bathroom and that sort of thing attached to it here. Got a sink outside. So this is just a fiberglass factory. So yeah, that's how they do it with a lot of them. Now, the majority of Vietnamese workers in Japan are employed under the Technical Intern Training Program, which aims to transfer skills to developing countries. So under this program, a lot of places, a lot of companies, a lot of car yards and different things are getting these sort of people. The car yard where I take my car to, they have about 3 or 4 Indonesians over here for 2 or 3 years, and they're training them up to do mechanical work. Just easy mechanical work, servicing cars, doing oil changes, that type of thing, rotating tires, maybe changing brake pads, just pretty easy sort of mechanical stuff. They're not doing any of the real difficult stuff like engine management or changing timing chains or anything like that. They're just doing very basic mechanical work. They have them washing a lot of the cars and cleaning a lot of the cars because they also have a car yard where they sell cars. So the guys are doing a lot of that sort of work too, keeping their cars clean at the car yard and that type of thing. So I think under this program, also the government chips in and gives support for them. They help pay for their salary, a certain amount, and maybe help with their accommodation and this type of thing. So this is becoming very popular. There's a big shipbuilding company in Hiroshima. Most of their workforce comes from overseas. A lot come from the Philippines, Indonesia, and that. There was a guy who used to work for them from the Philippines. He's now gone back. He worked for them for about 10 years. He's now gone back to the Philippines. He's running a Japanese language school, so he teaches Japanese, and he's trying to find ones who want to do welding. And once they have a decent amount of Japanese, they send them over to the company in Hiroshima, and they train them to be welders. After they do their certificate to be a welder, they can get a different visa and they can sort of support themselves. But the company wants to try to keep them working for them. So there's a lot of these training programs going on at the moment, and it makes it easier for them to get visas. So I think coming from Southeast Asia, it's much easier to get a visa to come to Japan to work than it is if you're coming from America or Australia or these sort of things. Because most people who come from the Western countries, a lot of them want to do English teaching, and to become an to do English teaching, you really need to get a job first, and then that employer will sponsor your visa so you can come. So that makes it quite a bit more difficult for people to come over. Sometimes people want to come to Japan, but it might take them a year or a year and a half to be able to find a job and be able to get a visa to come to Japan. We're coming from the Southeast Asian countries to do work in the manufacturing industry. It's much easier to get a working visa. So there's a lot of different things going on at the moment. Japan is bringing out, they have got a lot of new visas, different visas to be able to come to Japan and work. So if you are thinking of coming to Japan, you just really have to have a look at the Japanese website and see which visa you can get and how you can get them. But I think if you're coming from a Western country, you want to try to start up your own business or work for yourself or do something, work remotely, you can get, what do they call it? Visas where you can start your own company and that sort of thing. And you have 6 months to be able to start get working and get your company up and running. So there's a lot of different opportunities here at the moment. But this is just a little short video about, you know, like how most of the foreign workforce in Japan is Asian. The percentage of Westerners is quite small compared to the Asians. So anyway, that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. Till next time, that's all for now.